Earlier this month, September 2025, the Federal Trade Commission closed the book on its attempt to impose a nationwide ban on non-compete agreements. On September 5th, the Commission voted to dismiss its appeal of court orders striking its non-compete clause rule. But the FTC didn't simply pack up its briefcase and go home to lick its wounds. Instead, it's shifted its strategy, and it's one that medical group leaders need to watch closely. In dropping the appeal, the FTC announced the Commission's new majority position, which is that non-competes should be evaluated individually, not outlawed across the board. And that's where things get interesting, especially for medical group leaders. On September 4, the day just before moving to dismiss its appeals, the FTC issued a request for information to the public. The request seeks details about the real-world use and abuse of non-competes. It invites employees, employers, and industry participants, especially in healthcare, to identify who is using these agreements, for what rules, how they're enforced, and with what consequences. The agency is particularly concerned about non-competes for nurses, physicians, and other medical professionals, warning that such clauses may restrict patients' choices of who provides their medical care. In other words, while the categorical ban is dead, the FTC is gearing up to bring enforcement actions against employers whose non-competes it views as overbroad, anti-competitive, or unjustified. The request issued by the FTC runs through a detailed list of 13 questions. Among other things, the FTC is asking which employers are currently using non-competes and for which positions. What are the salary ranges of the roles covered by these non-competes? How long do the restrictions last? And how broad is their geographic scope? Are employees avoiding job opportunities or leaving the industry altogether because of these non-competition agreements? Have non-competes harmed innovation, limited business information, or contributed to shortages in healthcare markets? The FTC even drills down into healthcare-specific issues. Have non-competes affected wages, labor mobility, or the cost and quality of healthcare services? Have they made it harder for providers to hire physicians and nurses? Responses to the request are due on November 3, 2025. You can probably be sure that advocacy groups, health systems, and professional societies will be weighing in. But that's not all. On September 10th, FTC Chairman Ferguson issued warning letters to several large healthcare employers and staffing companies. Although the specific recipients were not disclosed, nor were copies of the individual letters, the FTC did post the letters template. It urges recipients to conduct a comprehensive review of their employment agreements, including any non-competes, to ensure that they are narrowly tailored and legally compliant. It warns that non-competes may be overbroad in duration or geographic scope, or inappropriate for certain roles entirely. And it makes clear that the Commission views aggressive enforcement under Section 5 of the FTC Act as a top priority in healthcare labor markets. By the way, if you'd like a copy of the template warning letter, email me at markweiss@weiss.pc.com and I'll get one to you right away. The demise of the FTC's one-size-fits-all ban might look like a reprieve, but it's really a pivot. Instead of swinging a giant broad hammer, the Commission is taking aim at case-specific anti-competitive behavior via covenants not to compete. For medical groups, that means the safer play is not to wait for an FTC letter to arrive. The FTC's categorical ban may be dead and buried, but its war on what they see as unreasonable non-competes is alive and well. So now is the time to audit your existing non-competes, especially those covering physicians, nurses, and other frontline healthcare providers. Narrow the scope, duration, and geography where possible. In other words, geographic restrictions. Be mindful of state laws, which remain the baseline rules of the road. Consider alternatives such as non-solicitation or confidentiality provisions that protect your interests as an employer without drawing the FTC's fire. And last, note that there are other proprietary alternatives that I've developed that might work for you. Now is the time to run the analysis.